Hello everybody, how we doing out there? This is Carlos from the Bourbon Bar. Happy holidays, and today we're going to go over an Old Forester product. A little bit newer in their lineup, I'd say the last year and a half or so was its first release. It is a single barrel strength bourbon, and nonetheless, it's something I've just been dying to review and kind of saved for a special time like this. So just a couple quick facts on it. It is a non-age stated product. It is 128.8 proof and has an MSRP of about $80, but it is relatively hard to find. All right, let's get a little bottle pop. America. Matt Porter, that's for you. Sorry if I'm stealing your thing, but I'm just going to keep shouting you out. A nice little pour there. Set her down and see if we can build some legs. And today I'm using the glass a little different than my Glencairn. And I think that's a fun topic too, glassware. Everyone seems to have their go-to whiskey glasses. I love me a good Glen, but really anything will work. And the main difference is going to be the nose you get out of it. As long as it has a snoot like this and kind of comes to a point. As you see, the Ravencroft has a nice little snoot up top. And then Glencairn, same thing, little snoot up top. All it really does is allow the whiskey to open, pull some air in, and then that top kind of domes it, if you will. So when you stick your nose inside, you'll get a good nose. All right. Ooh, vanilla, black cherry. Some brown sugar, some sweet oak. It's a nice, it's like a candied pecan, and then like Granny Smith apple all the way at the end, like a fresh sliced Granny Smith. Great color, nice deep amber. Really curious to know how many years this has been aged for. I mean, when they don't give an age statement, it's kind of tough. I don't know. I feel like it's probably a 5 to 6, but it's just a guess. A little bit of cherry too off the nose. Very nice and viscous. Good weight. Nice, deep, long evolution of flavor. Initially, it hits the palate with some sweet, like nutty, a little bit of vanilla, some brown sugar, and then all of a sudden, boom, that rice spice rolls in and really starts to amp it up. And yeah, just a really nice long finish. I'm still getting notes. Those legs, that's another thing. On a glass like this, it's kind of hard to stick for the legs to hold because it's such a steep drop, but they still show. They're nice, they're thick. It's pretty oily. Unfortunately, I know I mentioned this is kind of harder to find, but if you find a liquor store that has it and it's not a limit 2, and this Brown Forman you're a fan of, if you're a fan of Brown Forman products, I would recommend buy it. Maybe buy 2 so you can bunker one. Unless you're in Illinois, of course, leave one so I can buy it. On the palate, it's very rich. You get a lot of vanilla, like creme brulee custard. A little bit of cherry. Again, with that pecan, like a sweet nutty finish. Or not finish, but a sweet nutty note. I think that's pretty common in Brown Forman items. You get sweet, you get spicy, and you get a little nutty. Overall, this is really good bourbon. I have seen a couple at my local stores. Unfortunately, they're the liquor stores that like to charge a lot for things. The bourbon, I believe I saw at $200, and the rye I saw at like $300. At those kind of price points, I have to pass, especially at that point. I hadn't had it at all before. When you're spending multiple hundreds of dollars, it should be for something that either costs that much or you're willing to spend that because you've had it and love it. I really don't recommend spending that much money on a roll of the dice. Fortunately for me, I came around and I like this. And actually, this bottle is not mine. One of my really good buddies, Alex, thank you so much, kind enough to let me borrow the bottle so I can put a review out. And I'm really glad he did. This is really, really awesome bourbon. Let me just get a quick finishing note. We'll grade it and get on our way. I really like how it comes in sweet and oily, and then it slowly starts to ramp up. You get rye spice, you get like oaky dry spice, and it just keeps going and going. And there's mild undertones of sweetness that just kind of keep it from getting out of proportion. And then at this point now, I would say the finish is starting, and it gets back to kind of sweet and nutty, back to those kind of pecan flavors, and then the little bit of rye spice is there. It just finishes spicy and dry, not overly dry, but there's a dryness that kind of holds it down. And meanwhile, it still has those sweet undertones. You still get the brown sugars, you still get the little bit of vanilla, and then the candied pecan sweet nutty finish is right there. Really nice. I really like it. The price point is I shouldn't say on the steeper side, but it's definitely not at entry level or middle of the road. If you can find it for MSRP, and again, you like Brown Forman products, I would strongly recommend it. So for price, I'm going to give it a flat B. $80 is pretty moderate to reasonable for today's day of special releases. It's not insane, and especially as long as it's not marked up, I would say it's a nice B. Availability, I have to give a C-. For the most part, they're single barrels that get released on a small scale or store picks. So you really got to be on it, and time is of the essence with bottles like this, and that also will contribute to your price as well, unfortunately. So availability, C-, unfortunately. Quality, I'm going to give a A-. It's not, oh my god, life-changing, but at the end of the day, it is really, really good. When you think of barrel strength single barrels, what comes to mind? A Jack Daniel's barrel strength single barrel comes to mind. That's $65 and very findable. Other ones would be like, Elijah Craig has some. They're single barrel strengths. They are age stated, and those are right in the same ballpark of price, around $80, and they sell out quickly. So it's kind of in a unique category. Although barrel strength single barrels exist, they're usually not very easily accessible. The Jack Daniel's is great value. That's kind of why it's the first thing that comes to mind. Anyways, I guess that kind of wraps up this episode. Awesome bourbon. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Cheers. And not to spoil it, but up next is going to be the Van Winkle. So cheers, guys.